Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I remember the first time I went to Hobart. I lived in Georgetown, Tasmania, which was about 30 minutes from Launceston, which is the city at the other end of Tasmania. There's basically two cities in Tasmania, Hobart and Launceston. They're at opposite ends of the state. So we were going down to see the chocolate factory because there was a Cadbury factory in Tasmania. So we're really lucky that we literally had a chocolate factory. Like we would watch, we read the books, Charlie and Chocolate Factory, we watched the film, and we got to take a trip to Hobart to visit a chocolate factory. There aren't a lot of places that have chocolate factories, so it was very cool. And I'd never been to Hobart, and I remember it was a bit of a big deal. I mean, I think we left after school, so after school we all went and got on the bus, because when I was growing up there were kids who lived out by the beach, and they would get a bus, from school every night to go home. But I never got to go on a bus. A couple of times I went on the bus with my mum to the city, but I remember my friend was waiting, and he had brought comics and magazines to read, and he was holding them up to the window so I could see where he was. So I went and I sat next to him. We read comics all the way down, and the magazines, and we basically we went up to the top of Mount Wellington. Is it Mount Wellington in Hobart? Sounds like New Zealand. Oh, that's Wellington is the city. Okay. Yeah, and we saw light snow on the top of the mountain around some antennas and stuff like that. I'd never seen snow before. We got out and touched it and stuff. And then we went to, we went to Pizza Hut, and we sat in this, on this big table, and just all of us eating pizza and that, and it looked like just the commercials. So that was kind of amazing. Because I didn't get to eat out when I was a kid. Mum cooked, we ate. We never actually ate out and had dinner. No one did. There were barely any restaurants in the town. I think there's yeah. So that was a big deal. And then I think we stayed in hotels, or a motel, and it was I know I stayed with my friend because we were best friends, and we were in bunk beds. And like I said, he brought a bunch of magazines and comics and that. And I wanted to read what he was reading. So I got up in bed with him, and he was a little annoyed, but I ended up sleeping in the same bed because we were reading the same comics, and we were just in bed together just reading comics until we fell asleep. And I think the next day we might have did some shopping, and I sort of have this memory, and it's really weird because I knew I needed to have a specific amount of money. Now the teachers had said students could only take a certain amount of money because they didn't want some students to feel inadequate because they didn't have as much money as other kids. So you're only allowed to bring a certain amount of money, so you couldn't have people buying a bunch of stuff in Hobart and making the other kids feel bad about it. And I asked my dad for this specific amount, and he said, no, they said you can only have this amount. And I argued with him, but I didn't know why I needed it. And we ended up going and walking around. I was in this, I feel like I was in Myers or someplace like that. I don't know where it was now. I just remember walking down the toy aisle, and I saw Megatron. And it was the exact amount of money I asked my dad for. I knew, now this is not 1984. I don't know how there was still a Megatron. This might have been a collectible store. I don't know how there was a Megatron on a shelf at this point because it was years later. But I didn't have Megatron, and I always wanted him. I'd had Optimus and a bunch of other Transformers, but I didn't have Megatron. And it killed me because I knew I had to have that amount of money, and it was there, and it's this is what I was meant to get. My dad didn't listen to me, and it was years and years and years until I saw another Megatron and I was able to buy. I did see one in a collectible store for about $500, like an original one. I didn't buy it. What I bought was one of the reissued ones because it actually had the shooting bullet feature and extra weapons and things extra things that they added to it to make it more interesting, and some of the things that they had in the cartoon the glowing purple ball and chain and stuff like that. So I got that one instead, but that was a decade or so later. So I really resented him for that, and I ended up buying just another action figure. It must have been on sale too because it wasn't really expensive, but I know I needed that amount and I had less. I ended up buying another figure and ended up damaging it on the same trip. I think I might be confusing two different trips, but I know we went to Hobart. I know we went to the chocolate factory. It was awesome. We got to take samples and I felt like I was Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. It was awesome. And seeing Hobart, seeing, you know, going up to the top of the mountain, seeing snow, eating at Pizza Hut, staying in a motel. It was all like stuff I'd seen in movies. But yeah, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I don't know why I'm just sharing all my stories. I just feel like it. I don't know. I'm just enjoying it. And, you know, as long as a few people I know watch, you know, I'm just talking to you guys. I'm going to go. Bye.